I am Kathy Drager. I am the Interim Vice Provost for Graduate Education and Dean of the Graduate School. And I am so grateful that you have decided to join us tonight. I would also like to take a moment to recognize our panel of judges who have volunteered their time this evening to evaluate the music performances. Can I please ask our judges to stand? And please join me in thanking our panelists. We appreciate the time and effort that you're putting into this. Before the performances begin, I would like to introduce Dr. Elizabeth Hughes, Associate Professor of Special Education and Chair of the Graduate Exhibition Committee, who has some important information about the performances and the format for the evening to share with you.
Good evening. On behalf of the Graduate Exhibition Committee, I thank you for all joining us this evening. Tonight, each performer will introduce themselves and provide a brief scholarly summary of the work that is to be presented. The Graduate Exhibition Committee views this introductory presentation as an essential part of the performance. In keeping with the Graduate Exhibition's special emphasis on the clear and concise communication of research and creative endeavor to a general audience. We have one change to the program that I'd like to point out. Seafoam, which is currently number 12 in your program, will be number 11. And the Can String Quartet's Dance, which is currently 11, will be number 12, so they will flip. And then, after the last performance of the evening, we will invite all of our performers to return to the stage for a final round of applause. The names and the winners of all the Graduate Exhibition categories, including the musical performances, will be posted on the Graduate School's website next week and announced in a Penn State News article. Finally, so that we can all enjoy the performances, please be sure that your mobile devices are turned off or placed in silent mode. Now, I would like to welcome our first participant to the stage. Enjoy your evening.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Clarke, and I am a second-year Master's Performance student here at Penn State School of Music. This performance will be exploring the realm of extended technique on the saxophone, how the techniques came to be, and what is deemed as noise can create music which is both accessible and entertaining to the modern-day audience. The saxophone was invented in 1840s by Adolph Sax. According to the Western musical timeline, most classical music had already been made, so what's the appeal of this new classical instrument? In 1848, one of the first mentions of this instrument was by the composer Hector Berlioz. He mentions saxophones. These new voices given to the orchestra possess most rare and precious qualities. Sadly, it was not until the mid-1900s, nearly 100 years later, that the classical saxophone really began to get recognized by composers, taken seriously in the Western classical world. So how did it get noticed? One large factor was extended technique. Technique refers to the method of control a performer has over a musical instrument. Extended technique, these are techniques used by the virtuosic or higher-level performers to create extra musical sound effects or notes not usually used by the instrument in order to show off, as it were, to get the instrument known and in the spotlight, get more music written for it. Some of these techniques you will hear in my performance tonight. Composed in 1997 by the Australian composer and saxophonist Barry Cookcroft, Cuckoo began as an improvisation derived from another extended technique piece called Sequenza 7B by Luciano Berio. Taking multiphonics, which is an extended technique where a woodwind instrument can play multiple notes at once, and some funky rhythms, a friend of Cockcroft told him, "This piece sounds like a chicken." In this performance tonight, I would like you to listen very carefully and see if you can hear these extended techniques and see how they help portray this following story. Cuckoo in Swahili means chicken. Cuckoo is a type of clock made in the Black Forest. Cuckoo means crazy. There are happy hens, ones that live on an organic farm, that have worms to eat and lay lots of eggs. The air is fresh and a handsome rooster caters for all their needs. There are other kinds of chickens, ones that may have lost their minds or their heads. Each day they do the same thing. They live in little boxes. Cluck, 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 cluck.
Hi. So, good evening, everybody. Tonight, I'm going to perform some musical works by Rachmaninoff. Sergei Rachmaninoff was a Russian composer, pianist, and conductor. Since this year is the 150th anniversary of his birth, I'm celebrating his legacy by presenting two works, Polichinelle and Serenade, from his Mosaic de Fantasy, Opus 3. The fourth piece in this set, Polichinelle, is originally based on the Puccinella, a 17th century commedia dell'arte puppet character. He is typically depicted as a social climber who aims to rise above his life circumstances. This movement is full of the humorous incidents, such as the regular switching between the minor and major keys and extreme dynamic contrast. And it is in a three-part form with A, B, A, with the outer section depicting a circus scenario and the inner section including a lyrical tune. The fifth piece, Serenade, originally a type of love song, is transformed by Rachmaninoff into a dance piece. It is in B-flat Dorian mode with a slower section followed by a waltz. And the waltz is full of the rolling chords that overlaps the melody in the same key range, which brings a lot of the liveliness into the dance. These two works are typical of Rachmaninoff's earlier compositions, and they are a good introduction to his mature piano works. So I hope you all enjoy.
Hello, my name is Brenna Sherman, and I'm a second-year master's student here at Penn State. And today I'll be performing a piece called Charanga by Michael Colquhoun. Something that makes charanga so special is that the charanga is actually a kind of dance. It's very similar to salsa, except for the charanga has Cuban and African roots, and the main instrument in the charanga is actually the flute. And so the way that Michael Colquhoun is able to create this dance with just the flute, because this is a piece for solo flute, is by using extended techniques, which I know you learned a bit about from Kathy. She was the first one that played. Extended techniques on the flute are a little bit different. There's something called air playing. So instead of this is regular playing on the flute. Air playing is when you don't have the tone there. And that actually, the rhythm that I just played, is the main rhythm that's found in the charanga, the dance. There are a couple other things. There's singing and playing at the same time. And sometimes when you do that, you can actually get several notes at once. There's also something called flutter tonguing. Those are just a couple of things that you're going to hear in this piece, Charanga by Michael Colquhoun.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rui Zhang. I'm a doctoral student in piano performance. For tonight, I will show you the works from two composers, Mozart's Piano Sonata in B-flat major and Scriabin's Prelude and Nocturne for the left hand. The first piece is a late work by Mozart. Despite the fact that it was a difficult time of his life, this piece is really joyful. For the second one, actually, I have some personal connections with this piece. I injured my right hand last year, and Scriabin composed this piece after an injury to his right hand. The pianist is faced with the challenge of interpreting both melody and accompaniment with one hand. Compared to Mozart, this piece is quite melancholy, and it shows Scriabin's early style. Because of time, I will only play the last movement of Mozart and the Nocturne of Scriabin. Hope you will enjoy it.
Greetings, everybody. Hi, I'm Zephyr, and we have here Anna. As you can tell, I have a speech impediment, so I'll try to. I'd like to allow the music to speak for me. So, thank you for being here.
performing Prokofiev's Sonata for 2 violins in C major, opus 56, the first 2 movements. Russian composer Prokofiev composed this piece in 1932, and he was inspired by hearing a piece for 2 unaccompanied violins that he termed unsuccessful. And he thought he could do better. So hopefully you can help us judge whether he did better. He thought he could keep people's interest on 2 violins for 10 to 15 minutes max. We will only be playing 7 minutes of his about 15-minute piece for you tonight. But I hope that you really enjoy it. It's a really interesting piece because there's a lot of interplay between the instruments throughout. We trade off melodic lines, so you might hear something in my part and then hear it in Vinny's part. And there's a lot of communication and really tight rhythmic sections. The first movement is slow and opens with a solo violin melody that's then joined, and it goes back and forth between calm sections and more intense emotional sections. The second movement begins with chords in both instruments and is very intense and rhythmic throughout. It's kind of rock and rolly, so hopefully that will be enjoyable for all of you. And yeah, enjoy. Thank you.
I always love this night. We have such great performances, and in just a moment we're going to take a 10-minute intermission and then come back and have 6 more amazing performances. So this is like what I do in class when I give my students a break. If you could come back at 8:15, we will begin the second half. Thank you.
The Mobius strip is a mathematical phenomenon that allows a 2-dimensional strip to become an infinite 3-dimensional object that travels on both sides of the object by simply adding 1/2 twist before connecting the 2 ends of the strip. The image has been explored by artists such as M.C. Escher, who has been known for his expertise in creating optical illusions through perspective. Mobius strip by Alexis Lamb was commissioned by percussionist Kyle Lutz for multiple percussion setup and loop pedal. The instrumentation is written for a modified drum set, including kick drum, snare drum, and unspecified metal and glass sound up to the performer's discretion. Throughout the piece, the performer plays and records initial grooves to be repeated through the loop, allowing the performer to layer these patterns with interlocking passages and ornaments, encouraging the performer to accompany themselves on the same set of limited instruments. With the addition of the loop pedal, Mobius strip expands the independence and coordination of drum set playing by having 3 separate actions for the left foot, starting and stopping the recording, stopping playback, and clearing the loop. I had the honor to record Mobius strip in December of 2022 for Alexis Lam's debut album, Yes and I am excited to share the premiere performance of the piece today. Thank you.
is Jonida Lazellari, and tonight I'm going to present or perform Feu d'Artifice by Claude Debussy. Fireworks, which is the translation in English, is composed in 1913 and is the last piece of the second book in Debussy's late works called Preludes. It has a vivid and exquisite character and offers us an infinite space of imagination. As the title suggests, Fireworks provides for a festive conclusion to the preludes through its colorful musical image as well as pianistic challenge. Throughout the piece, Debussy uses a variety of techniques to create an impressionistic soundscape with shimmering harmonies and colorful textures that evoke the vibrant colors and chaotic energy of a fireworks show. A fragment of La Marseillaise, which is the French national anthem, will conclude the festivities. As Debussy says, there's no theory at all. You just listen to it. Nothing but beautiful sound is our discipline. I hope you enjoyed.
Thanks all again so much for coming. We are the Kalmia Quartet. We're just going to do a little resetting while I talk about the piece a little bit. We are playing the second movement of French composer Ernest Chausson's Piano Quartet, Opus 30. This is the slow movement of the piece, actually, so it's marked very calm, and it opens with a beautiful viola solo melody, and that's the main melody of the piece. It goes throughout all of the instruments, and it comes back later in the piece. It opens in a really gorgeous D-flat major, but not too many spoilers. It doesn't have a happy ending, so it's a bit heartbreaking, very beautiful, and we hope you enjoy Chausson's Piano Quartet, Opus 30, Movement 2.
Good evening, everyone. We are Penn State's graduate Woodwind Quintet, and we do have a fifth member. Our fabulous horn player Samantha's with us. Tonight we'll be playing Jeff Scott's Startin' Something for you. Jeff Scott is an African-American French horn player and composer whose musical style seeks to capture African-American music traditions in what we would consider a classical form. It is really important to us as a quintet that we are able to play music for you all that you wouldn't usually get to hear. We hope you enjoy.
This thing on?
Good evening, everyone. We are the Penn State Viola Quartet, and we're very proud to be bringing you a world premiere tonight. We got in contact with Manuel Velasquez when we fell in love with his music about a year ago, and it's became a very collaborative project. He was very interested in working with us. We thought he would be able to contribute to the somewhat small repertoire for this unusual ensemble of violas. And so we got to work. He gave us drafts, we gave him comments, and this became an interactive project for all of us, and it reflects our individual playing abilities.
In Seafoam, we are going to take you on a journey in which you will be able to detach from the everyday life and situate yourself in a beautiful beach. Experience the rocking of the waves, the popping of the sea foam, the glimmer of the sun rays on the sea, and also sometimes the chant of the seagulls. Later on, a very agitated storm will come, but as always, the sun will come out and we will be back to calmness.
Throughout this piece, there are bars of free duration, meaning that there's no rhythm, and so each time we play it, it's different every time. So it's kind of reflective of the ocean and its ever-changing and ever-changing nature.
I want to quickly demonstrate just a few techniques that he has us use in this piece. I didn't plan on using a microphone for this, so we'll have a little handoff. One is he employs a static sound. Thank you. So with this, we don't really get any pitch from the instrument, but we kind of emulate waves or wind. He uses harmonics, which are basically like a very high-pitched flute-like sound that we can get from the instrument. And as Kate said, these take place in a lot of free duration bars, so they're kind of unpredictable. We don't really know what's going to happen each time we get there, and it's a lot of fun to kind of hear the colors that come out each time. So
we hope you can enjoy this meditative journey in seafoam.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to perform in front of you tonight. I just want to talk a little bit about this piece before we go on and play it. Second theme from Rebel, which is the name of this composition, is a part of an ongoing project of mine to explore the music of Black vernacular dance music and trying to combine that with other kinds of art music. When I say Black vernacular dance music, I'm talking about things like breakdancing, things like go-go music out of DC, things like more modern things would be footwork out of Chicago or juking out in Memphis. But this one in particular is a mixture of two things that are really close to my heart: string quartets and house music. The idea here is just kind of it's all a part of this long march towards bringing the dance music back to jazz. And that's kind of what this is going to be. So you're going to hear the statement of the melody. You're going to hear some sections of spontaneous composition by myself, the tenor player Anton, and by our drummer Ricky. And it's a really fun and energetic piece. So my hope is that it gets you moving in your seats. If you feel the need to stand up and start dancing, that is exactly the point, and that would be very welcome. And that's it, the piece, second theme from Ravel.
Tremendous. Just tremendous. These performances were all wonderful. Before we conclude the program, I want to invite all the performers back on stage so we can give them a final round of applause. Come on back. That was perfect. We did not practice that. To all of our graduate students, thank you for presenting your excellent musical selections this evening. They were amazing. Before we conclude, I would like to invite everyone in attendance to hear from even more graduate students at the second and final live event for the 2023 graduate exhibition. Join us while we hold a poster session this Friday from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the Alumni Hall of the Hub Robeson Center. Several hundred graduate students will be on hand to discuss their research and creative scholarship. And just like tonight's event, it was designed so that graduate students can share their work with the public, and we really hope to see you there. Thank you again for joining us this evening. Have a wonderful night.